Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. Canada's real gross domestic product, GDP, increased by 0.2% in February, marking the second consecutive month of growth driven by goods-producing industries, according to Statistics Canada. Xinhuanet reports that goods-producing sectors expanded by 0.4%, primarily fueled by strong performance in manufacturing and the mining, quarrying, and oil and gas extraction industries. Services-producing industries also saw a modest rise of 0.1%. This growth was largely attributed to rebounds in transportation and warehousing, as well as wholesale trade, although these gains were somewhat tempered by contractions within the public sector. Looking ahead, advance information from Statistics Canada suggests that real GDP remained essentially unchanged in March. Increases in wholesale trade and transportation, warehousing during March were offset by decreases in retail trade and mining, quarrying, and oil and gas extraction. With these figures, the National Statistical Agency indicated that Canada's economy expanded by 0.4% in the first quarter of 2026. Victoria. British Columbia's Forest Minister, Ravi Parmar, stated that the province expects billions in additional federal support for its timber sector if upcoming trade negotiations with the United States do not resolve issues related to softwood lumber duties. Parmar emphasized that BC will leverage every opportunity to remind Ottawa that forestry must be a key component of the Canada-US-Mexico Agreement, CUSMA, renegotiation. If these talks are unsuccessful in addressing U.S. duties and tariffs, which currently stand around 45%, BC anticipates that Ottawa will double or even triple the over $2 billion in support already provided to the sector nationwide since last August. The minister indicated that the province would not hesitate to request more funds for industry diversification and worker assistance. Parmar expressed optimism about Ottawa's partnership but stressed the necessity of federal action. This report is from the Canadian Press. Prime Minister Mark Carney asserted that his government is effectively preventing individuals linked to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, from entering Canada, despite a recent incident involving Mehdi Taj. Taj, the president of the Iranian Football Federation and a former IRGC official, was reportedly granted a visa, but subsequently denied entry upon arrival at a Canadian port. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand confirmed Taj was denied entry. Carney emphasized that while individual cases cannot be discussed due to privacy laws, the government's stance remains firm. IRGC members are prohibited from entering Canada and will not be allowed entry. Opposition critics, including Michelle Rempel-Garner, criticized the government's lack of transparency, calling for an investigation into how Taj obtained a visa and how such situations will be prevented in the future. Global News reports that experts emphasize the urgent need for Canada's newly proposed Financial Crimes Agency, FCA, to effectively combat the escalating threat of fraud, scams, money laundering, insider trading, and organized crime. The Liberal government, fulfilling a 2021 campaign promise, has earmarked $352.7 million over 5 years for the FCA, with annual funding of $82.1 million thereafter. This initiative comes as financial crimes, particularly money laundering, are estimated to cost Canada upwards of $40 billion annually, representing about 2% of the GDP. Experts like Steve Baumes highlight the prevalence of romance scams and malware. Michael Ecclestone points out Canada's historically low prosecution rates for financial crimes compared to other G7 nations, stressing the importance of a dedicated and skilled workforce. The RCMP has long struggled with resource allocation, diverting attention from financial crime to national security and contract policing. The success of the FCA will depend on its ability to rapidly staff, train, and coordinate with other federal authorities. According to the Canadian Press, Artificial Intelligence Minister Evan Solomon announced that the federal government will defer regulatory action on OpenAI until it receives comprehensive information regarding the tragic shooting in Tumbler Ridge, BC. On February 10th, Jesse Van Rootselaar killed 8 people, including 6 children, before committing suicide. OpenAI had previously banned the shooter from its ChatGPT chatbot due to alarming interactions, but failed to notify law enforcement as the individual circumvented the ban with a second account. Minister Solomon stressed the need for caution, stating that hard cases make bad laws. He revealed that the Canadian AI Safety Institute is actively collaborating with OpenAI to gain access to its safety protocols, which involves sensitive negotiations about algorithmic information. Both Solomon and Culture Minister Mark Miller highlighted that while AI technology flagged the shooter's behavior, human assessors ultimately made the error of not escalating the threat to police. Solomon had met with OpenAI's CEO in March, alongside other ministers, after which OpenAI committed to developing new systems for identifying high-risk offenders, establishing direct communication with the RCMP, and implementing protocols for individuals in distress. The government has yet to decide if upcoming online harms legislation will cover AI chatbots. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.